this evening, and welcome to a Is Michigan Losing Their Sugar Daddy edition of the OHIO podcast. Do us a big favor if you don't mind. Go ahead and smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, ring the bell, get notified every time we go live. And of course, let us know what you think about what we think down in the comments section below. Let's get into it. So, the last couple weeks, myself, our insider over on our Patreon channel, Buck Vader, many of you have heard of him, know him. We have been doing a deep dive into a conversation that we started to have concerning the financial, I guess you could say, hardship of the team up north. Warde Manuel has been laying some crumbs along the way, some audio and some interviews that kind of, if you have your antenna pointed in the right direction, make you go, that was interesting. What is he talking about? And when you start to dive into a little of the numbers, the financials of the University of Michigan and their athletic department, you can kind of start to see what Warde Manuel is setting up for what might be taking place. Back when the NCAA handed down the $30 million fine for the cheating scandal, at the time, we all thought it was a slap on the wrist. And for the record, I still do. But there is a possibility, highlight the word possibility, that if certain individuals in and without the athletic department there at Michigan do not step up to the plate financially for Warde and this athletic department and the football team, NIL for Michigan is going to suffer. The math shows it. Absolutely. And I will lay all of that out for you. And of course, I will highlight what Buck Vader wrote over on our Patreon channel. Again, shout out Buck Vader. Highly recommend you all go check it out over on our Patreon. Link below. What he wrote concerning this very topic. In fact, he titled it, Michigan going to be losing their sugar daddy, which I thought was a fantastic title. So let me explain the entire scenario situation for you. Almost a year ago, okay? This was January of 2025. So almost a year ago, Warde Manuel was quoted in a magazine, the Sports Business Journal, and he was quoted as saying, "Donor fatigue is real. Donor fatigue is real." Now, that was a year ago, okay? So, as an athletic director, keep in mind, your main job as AD is to get money, to raise funds, to keep feeding the machine that is gobbling up tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars if you're a giant athletic program like Michigan is, on a yearly basis. Eventually, in business, you cannot sustain that. It starts to decline. Such is the case in Ann Arbor. And I will show you in some graphs and some reports and things, and I'll give you some visual aids on why that is starting to happen and why Warde has been laying the groundwork so that the fan base hopefully catches on why NIL is going to probably take a dip in the coming years. Here we go. So this is the audio from a couple weeks ago. I believe it was a couple weeks ago. Warde Manuel was on his routine of going and talking to Scam Webb, and Scam asks him about the $30 million fine, and this is what Warde had to say.
But also we need to be more realistic. I mean, the penalty that we receive is going to be over $30 million. And in that particular case, we're going to find a way to deal with it. But that would bankrupt a lot of programs.
Be realistic. Did you catch that? We need to be realistic here. Okay. And he goes on to say, hey, listen, we're blessed to be Michigan because that would have done in a lot of programs, but it's not going to do in us. But still, I'm going to lay out some groundwork for you. Then recently, we had some news come up. Now, let me take one step back. After the fine came out, Michigan fans celebrated. Rightfully so. You got away with it, dude. You absolutely got away with cheating. But you all celebrated because you thought, haha, 30 million. This is going to be chump change. We got this, man. We got the third richest man in our back pocket because he's 80-some years old dating a 30-some-year-old Michigan alum. Married to, actually, I believe. I think it's his fifth wife. Of course, talking about Larry Ellison, right? And he's married to a Michigan alum, and she got him to donate somewhere in the ballpark of $10 million last year to the NIL Collective in order to go out and get Underwood to flip from LSU to Michigan. It's well documented. Everybody's talked about it. Michigan celebrated. And they all think, she can just get him to write a check whenever. We are going to be kings of the Big Ten, kings of college football. We're going to outspend everybody in order to do that, right? And even at the end of this recruiting cycle, there was some celebratory tweets going out and rumors flying around from the Maize and Blue faithful that their NIL had never been healthier. Look at who we got. We got the top running back, the top D end. Just look at our class. Our NIL is great, right? Is it? Because Larry Ellison has got some really, really big fish to fry. And let's just say he wasn't the one out at the pond with the fishing pole who now has to worry about the catch here. So, according to Buck Vader and his article, Michigan may lose its sugar daddy over on our Patreon page. The Ellison family, Larry's son, David, who is the CEO of Paramount Skydance, is in the midst of a, shall we call it, a corporate hostile takeover, possibly? Is that fair to call it? The Warner Brothers Warner Brother company acquired, shook hands, if you will, with Netflix on an $82.7 billion deal to acquire Warner Brothers. And in that deal, all of a sudden, David Ellison and his company, Skydance, swoops in here and offers $108.4 billion with a B, $108.4 billion offer. Now, and he did so to buy the entire company. Now, when you start to do some digging, which is what Buck Vader did here, you find out that David Ellison's company here, Skydance, Paramount Skydance, is basically going to be, the money's going to be upfronted to him, for a lack of a better term, by Daddy and his giant company, Oracle, okay? So, and there's some talk about how he would be able to do that, where that money's actually going to be coming from, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, and again, I want to highly encourage you to go over to Patreon, become a member, read the article. However, this bodes the question: is he going to continue to front money to his much younger wife if she comes to him and says Michigan needs X amount of more money, when he is over here flipping the bill for his son at 108 point something billion dollars. Now, I understand he's considered the third richest man on planet Earth, made of money. What's it to him to spend tens of millions of dollars to make sure his wife is happy, right? Happy wife, happy life. I'm sure the guy knows that. He's been married 5 freaking times. Well, folks, there's a little thing called ROI in the business world. Return on investment. I'm sure Larry understands what ROI is. And so the question is, will he continue to have the, I guess you could say, motivation to continue spending and writing those checks to a university that he has zero ties to, zero love for, could care less about, simply just to keep his fifth wife happy? That's the question. Because if you go to the message boards and you interact with all of these Michigan fans, that's what they're banking on here. They think Larry Ellison's just going to write another check and it's going to be over with and all's going to be right with the world. But will it? Let's dive into some of the numbers and the statistics, shall we? Let's first off take a look at where the estimate of the breakdown of the Michigan NCAA fines are going to be. And this is important because this is going to be allocated to the athletic department's budget in 2026. In other words, Michigan athletics has to front this bill. They've got to pay for it. Okay? And when you look at this graph, I know it's you're like, what does this mean? It's the estimate breakdown of the fines, where they come from, how they came up with the 30 million, all right? You got two season postseason revenues. So the 2025-2026 postseason revenues at estimated of 20 million, the 7 million or somewhere between 20 to 21 million, somewhere between 7 to 8 million, probably in the program budget. That's where they came up with that number from. 10% from scholarship cost at 0.7, and then 0.05 for the fixed fine. And add it all up together, it's going to be somewhere roughly close to or a little over $30 million. Okay, that is where that fine is broken down from. Now, understanding that, we then have to understand the I guess you could say unbudgeted funds that Michigan has to think about coming up this upcoming year. So a 30 million, we'll just call it 30 million for simple math. $30 million fine to the NCAA. They're going to have to pay it. Michigan's annual NIL estimation is somewhere around 16.3 million. Let's just, for in the future, we'll just call it 17 million for simple math, okay? $47 million that the football program is going to have to come up with, okay? So $47 million donor money. Now, Ward has already started to say we're going to have to make athletic department cuts to the budget. Why? Because they're not going to come up with the 47 million. If he was like, you know what? We got it. Checks in the mail. He wouldn't be making cuts to the athletic department and their budget. But he is. Okay? This is where it gets very interesting. So looking at the numbers here, check this out. This is the budgets that are coming to the University of Michigan in 2026 to their athletic department, according to Ward Manuel himself. First off, they are cutting $6 million in university transfer reduction. It was 8 million before. They're going to make it 2 million. This has already been implemented, he says. Okay. So that's $6 million right there, gone, right? The general budget cuts, operation expenses, reduction, staffing, etc. So one of the things he talked about is they're not going to be replacing people in the department when their contract is up or they retire or whatever, etc. They're not going to replace those people. So in other words, more individuals within the athletic department are going to have more responsibility added to their job at a cost of 10 million. That's significant. So either A, you had a lot of fat on the bone there that you're getting rid of, or B, you're just going to make some people completely stressed out, dude. Then you have travel policy, operational expense reduction of 900,000 or just about $1 million that happened in 2024 that'll be ongoing in 2025, already implemented. The last one, by the way, the general budget cuts, is going to be in progress or planned to happen starting this year in 2025. So almost $1 million in travel reductions just gone. New revenue alcohol sales. All right, so they were banking on in 2024 getting a buttload of money due to the booze that they're selling in the stadium. Ended up being $2.25 million extra added to the budget. And then they're going to have an estimated of about $1 million to $3 million. We'll just call it a $3 million estimation in the good for concerts, events in the big house. Zach Bryan concert. I'm not a concert guy, so I don't even know who that is, but whatever. That is the other thing that is being added there to the budget for the good. All right, so this is what is out there public. This is public knowledge for the athletic department and Warde Manuel's budget. Now, I just doing some simple math here. I got some math for you to take a look at. So the total budget increase. So going into 2026, you had the 30 million, right? You had the 17 million. You have a couple extra additional millions added to that and expenditures for 2026. The total budget increases are $51 million in 2026. Now, the biggest chunk of that is obviously coming from the NCAA fine. Warde says, hey, due to increased revenue and with budget cuts, we're going to make about 22 million of that. All right. So that means he needs to fine the 29 million still, roughly still the 30 million, plus the NI annual cost of 17 million. So little simple math here, folks, tells you $46 million is the asking price to the donors at the University of Michigan. Now, here's an interesting thing for you. Remember what he said a year ago? That there's donor fatigue? How do you think those donors feel now? He's coming back and he's not just saying, hey, are you good for your annual $2-3 million? Are you good for your annual $1 million? Are you good for your annual $500,000 this year, my man? Okay, yeah, great. Where's the extra 29 million going to come from? Well, here's what the little birdie's talking about and tweeting. The donors are going to flip the bill for that $30 million, that 29 million he's got to find. Where's that leave the NIL this year? Moving forward. If donor fatigue is a real thing, and you're not just going to be able to rely on Larry Ellison to flip the bill for you and get you out of hot water, Where's that leave your NIL? That's the question. Keep your eye on two things this upcoming year: the transfer portal and recruiting. If Michigan takes a major step back in either one of those or both, you've got your answer. The donor money that was given to Warde Manuel was spent on the NCAA, the fine, and the team is going to suffer. And if it suffers, who gets the blame? Interesting question, isn't it? Let me know what you think about what I think and what we found down in the comments section below. Listen, one guy said in the comments the other day, he said, "You sound like you think you're the smartest guy in the room." I am, because I'm the only guy in this room right now. I don't claim to be a mathematician here, man. I'm just a guy doing a little research, doing a little reading, doing some math, and asking questions. That's all I'm doing. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Go Bucks.